So, we won the die roll, and we are also looking at a pretty good hand here. Grim Lavamancer on turn 2, turn 1 Lynx, which we're going to have to get with the Windswept Heath, which is fine. I'd rather this have been like Shockland that we could do, but this is pretty good. And we've got 2 fetch lands into another Reliquary, which can keep our Lynx going for a while longer. We got ourselves removal in the Bolt. If I really felt like it, I could probably afford to Grim and Bolt at the same time, depending on what the deck is. I know there is a Glitter Storm, and yes, I do like that term better, Glitter Storm. Well, he's mulligan down forever, which is good for us. My reliance on green's a lot less, so I actually think I probably will, because I got more red and it's a repeatable red. Crack this for a Sacred Foundry. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Mulligan down to 5, or 6 though, so I like it when I see moles and they're not me. Linotaur, 85. What is a Linotaur? I don't know. Guy takes forever to respond on things. I wonder if he's just got a bad internet. Again, we're gonna go for that Sacred Foundry. Pay the life. And put out that Step Lynx. Again, I know there is a Glitter Storm deck. However, if this was Fae, I'd be very happy right now. Alright. So, I thought this was a fetch. It's actually not. So this hand's actually worse than I thought it was. But we don't know what we're playing against, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the life off of this. And we'll go for the swing for 2. In retrospect, it's not as, it's like Lynx right now is just as bad as Curdape, which doesn't mean it's bad. It actually means it's alright. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use the green mana one to cast Grim Lavamancer. If he's a tempo deck, Grim Lavamancer basically wins the game for me. So we'll see what he is in a second. It looks like he might be junk, that's what I'm gonna guess, and yeah, I'm probably right there. But that means neither Reliquary is a little bit better against junk. Curdape's a cool draw here. We're gonna put down that mountain. Make this trigger, and we're gonna swing for, we can swing and deny ourselves the ability to, I mean, because technically we could Bolt, Curdape, activate Grim Lavamancer. I think we're just gonna go ahead and swing. I'm not gonna miss 1 damage. Watch it at the end of the game. He's down to 1 life and I can't make him lose. Abrupt Decay, I'm guessing? Yep. And that is fine. That's why I'm going to go ahead and now cast my Nether Reliquary. Boop-a-doo-doo. If there was 1 more fetch in there, it would be a lot better. But again, it's looking like he's not Junned, because otherwise he would be using better mana. Unless he just doesn't have it. But yeah, that's gonna stick. And Night is a headache for junk. If they can't get rid of it, it gets worse and worse for them. I'm gonna take the life for it. What does that mean he's going to do? Probably kill my Nether Reliquary? Corsair of Crewfix, huh? He's got a Bob. How do I get rid of this? I haven't been on MTGO in a while. So what are we going to draw here? Think we just attack, although we could leave Knight up to basically buff buff our other Knight and null out one of his something else he could do. I mean, otherwise I can attack, Bolt, Noctel, and kill that Corsair. I can still kill the Corsair even if he doesn't block. I don't want to be knocked out by Maelstrom Pulse here, though, so I think I'm just going to cast Knight and call it a day. Haha, get it? Cast Knight and call it a day. But this, I'm hoping he's going to go for like a Maelstrom Pulse on my Knight. Be like, oh, it's a juicy target. And then I'm going to go ahead and get Sinjiri Step. Make my Knight, give it protection from like green or something. And just go all out here. If he goes ahead and he eats my, or he eats my thing, that's fine. I don't mind about that, because I'm just going to bolt it next turn. And I'm going to kill the Stomping Ground. Feel a little salty, not a lot of salty, if he, I'm going to crack this for a Stomping Ground. And I'm going to pay the mana for it. Yes, pay the life for it. And I'm going to bolt out his Ooze. This does give me a pair of 5/5s I'm going to be attacking with. Yeah, so I win the game because of that. That's what Knight does sometimes, man. That's just what Knight does. Alright, so we know he's a junk deck. He's going to be siding in more removal against me. But he's not a Jund deck, so Immunogenic Growth is actually not that great against them. But Molten Rain's still pretty good here, and so is Path to Exile. We just gotta cut cards now, and that's always the trouble. Lightning Helix and Qasali Pride Mage are generally what I take out. Just because Lightning Helix, while having a good target in Bob, doesn't really have any other good targets. I mean, other than like a turn or two of Ooze. But kicking a Vines of Vastwood and blowing out his removal is way better. And so is Molten Raining out his lands and giving me longer to, you know, just beat him up. That's fine with me too, especially if it deals 2 damage and it Mana screws him. This is a pretty crappy hand here. I mean, it's got a Tarmogoyf, and it's got a Lynx, but it's not actually got that aggressive a start, and it can't cast Molten Rain or Gork Clan off of it. I mean, I were to maybe draw into a red source, or have like this be a fetch land, I would keep it. But I gotta mulligan this away. This is worse. This is probably worse, but we gotta do something here. I'm not gonna like mull and just make it a quick, easy go for him. Who knows? There might be a way out. That makes things a lot worse too. Mulling against discard decks kind of suck. I mean, we're either gonna lose the Goyf here, or we're gonna lose the Noctil. Regardless, if I can kick off some time off of him, and he ends up not being able to. Yeah, so there goes the Noctil. I mean, that's what I would have picked anyways too. If I draw a land, that would be pretty good. Drawing a Tarmogoyf is not good. I mean, we can still maybe draw a land next turn, but this is going downhill pretty quick. Regardless, I should be favored when I go first. I'm just going to go ahead and yield till end of turn. Oh, well that's something. I mean, 2 Tarmogoyfs is going to be pretty good here. Can't lie about that. Stomping Ground sounds like the correct choice. Putting in a 3/4 Goyf, which will block Dark Confidant. See what he triggers. It reveals a Tarmogoyf. We at least have a path for that Tarmogoyf. I mean, I would play the Tarmogoyf rather than Abrupt Decay. Because you can Abrupt Decay on my turn. But I will be pathing that Tarmogoyf. I gotta let the Bob stay alive. Molten Rain without the land kind of stinks. I can't just attack into the Tarmogoyf and wish for the best. We're gonna have to path that thing away. Swing. Luckily we have a Curdape that we can still play off of it. But ironically, that does make Goyf a beater. And if he's just got, like, pretty bad cards in his hand, and he just hits bad cards with Dark Confidant, he could still pull out this game. Well, he's going to block, so there's that. Our Molten Ring can hit the Treetop Village and get rid of a quote-unquote creature. Oh, what does he got here? Like an Obstinate Baloth? Desecration Demon. Craziness. Let's see, at the beginning of each combat, so I don't have to do anything right now. No, I don't. Who knows, I might draw a path here. Bolt is not a path. I think we sack the, I think we sack the Curdape so we can get in some damage here. Yes. And then we attack with Tarmogoyf. And then play another Tarmogoyf. Oh, we missed the attack. Damn. Man, that's my Moto skills coming in action. Now he's got blockers. Yeah, we aren't going to win this game anyways. Corsair. With an ooze on top. That sweet, sweet ooze. Wish we could resize easily. I wish I could resize easily. Alright, I guess I put Ape out there. I mean, he's gonna eat the crap out of all this stuff, which kind of stinks. And not only can he can also eat my Tarmogoyf food. Yeah, there's just no way I can get out of this. I guess we're just gonna go ahead and yield till end of turn. Let's just force him to win the game here. Hey, I'm just going to point this out. He's going to win the game here. I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video because there's no reason for me to go through this when I'm just literally just wasting his time. Alright, so we're back, and there was really nothing to say. I just made him lose about 3 minutes. Whatever. I have this thing where I don't like losing. Just because I'm losing. I'd much rather, like, make the person have to kill me. It's just, I don't know, it's just something to think about. Like, you know, like, I haven't lost the game until I lost the game. And if it means that, like, ooh, this is a good keep. Oh my gosh, this is, like, a good one. We got ourselves a ton of damage. Yeah, we'll keep this. We'll keep this. And he's mulliganing. We'll keep it. It's mulliganing again. Just keep mulling, man. I had to do it last game, so it's all up to you, man. Alright, so we're going to go with Windswept Heath. Crack that thing. Get ourselves out a Temple Garden, because we've got Path and Noctel. Pay the life. Put out that Lynx. Pass the turn. Now, if he doesn't have a good way to kill my Lynx, which he probably doesn't for at least 2 turns, we're going to be doing some massive amounts of damage to him. At least 8. And we got another Lynx to back it up too. This is greedy good. That's how good this is. Lynx is going to be capable of doing something gross like 12 damage this game. That's what Lynx is going to do. Again, I got nothing to hide, so I'm just going to cast this main phase here. Truthfully, if I wanted to play well, I could have played around Gut Shot by casting Lynx and then cracking in response. But, you know, I don't do that stuff. I don't do that stuff sometimes. But we're presenting a metric, close your ears, kid, metric fuck ton of damage here. I mean, even if we were to path a Lynx, he's still getting hit for 2 extra because of that path. But we are presenting 4, 8, 11 damage, 12 damage. Bolt it could seal the game here. And there's no reason for me to crack for untapped here. But I do have Ooze coming out eventually, so I'm going to go ahead and get a Stomping Ground here. And I'm not going to pay for the life. The only thing that would make this better is if we had Vines of Astwood. Well, we'll see. He could have the Abrupt Decay, and he probably does have the Abrupt Decay. But he's still getting hit for a crap ton. Devour flesh. Well, I'm gonna like go ahead and let my Noctil die here, cause yeah, Noctil can die. Weirdly enough, Noctil can go ahead and die here. We're still smacking him down to what, 9? 7, even better, even tastier. I think we've got it here, because even if he puts out something to block with, I can path it, and I can bolt him for the win. Even if he somehow manages to kill something and block it. Maelstrom Pulse. Yeah, that's not going to happen. We're going to go ahead and path whatever he's targeting. So that way we get to keep our links. And we should have the game now. Yeah, I want to use the ability. Yeah, I want to use the ability. Get ourselves a forest. And Pulse doesn't have a target anymore and disappears. And that should win us the game. And that's it. GG. Alright then, I'm happy with getting prizes. Alright, so that about wraps it up. We won 6 Cons of Takir packs, meaning we get 19 tickets from selling those packs off. And that means that we're going to be able to enter at least 3 or 4 more dailies. So, that's good for us. So again, here is what we ran in case you need to pause the video and check it out. We'll do a quick wrap up, like I said. Our beater core was just fantastic. Knight, as you can see, sometimes taking over games and just being just a mid-range beater, 5/5 or even bigger. Various times just putting out 2 Knights like we did against that junk deck, just couldn't handle it and it was just going to overwhelm it. It's also, I mean, having a butt that's bigger than 3 is really important against those decks that rock Bolt, which pretty much rocks the rest of our creature base. Steplinks was MVP. I had my doubts about Steplinks, but what can I say, man? That little cat managed to put in a crap ton of damage, sometimes upwards to 12 damage, and it's just doing way more than Goblin Guy is right now. The haste is not super relevant against, with the exception of Glitterstorm, where it's like the only relevant time haste is that relevant. Otherwise, Steplinks is just doing more damage up front. People are still running the same amount of bolts and lightning helixes and Path to Exiles as normal, which kills Steplinks, but the upside is there's a lot less Is-It Charms and a lot less like Electrolyzes going around. So Steplinks becomes better when those things become less useful for people. Like I said, having the utility here was doing really well. You could see some games. Pride Mage almost managed to win out a against the Affinity deck. I think if he stuck during that Affinity match, we probably would have won the race. Gore Clan, as you saw, did some work, but it did just enough, and it showed up just enough when I needed it to. So I think 2 or 3 is probably the correct number, rather than it's just a straight up 4 of. Grim Lavamancer did some work, but was actually a little disappointing today. Overall, Grim could have been just extra bolts, like another Path to Exile, or maybe even Pillar of Flames, and would have been fine. But then again, I never really got the chance for it to shine against Affinity because it just got bolted out of there. So I'm going to need to do more testing before I decide if Grim's useful or not. There's been situations where I think I've just had the game locked down because I've had a Grim Lavamancer, so I'm not willing to cut it yet. The mana base is exceptional. This is the best mana base I think you can rock in my kind of deck. You can get pretty much every basic that you saw. You saw me never have any problems with my mana base ever again, which is, it's a godsend. I mean, it makes Step Links, which was pretty unplayable prior, actually playable again. And 11 is enough here. You could probably maximize and go 12 if you want to. I like what I'm going on. I like this setup. Sinjiri Step didn't show up really very much today and didn't really make or break anything, but there's been games where Sinjiri Step has been like the reason why I've won games, so I'm just letting y'all know that card is better than any of the other options you've got right now, especially if you're running Step Links, because you do need that white sometimes. And then Keswick Wolf Run, again, wasn't awesome here. There were certain games where it could have been way better, but it got killed. But that just attests to how powerful it really is. Like, it's one of those you either kill it or you don't things. Leyline of Sanctity didn't do its job today, which I'm kind of frustrated about. And I'm wondering, since now I've got better mana anyways, if Leyline of Sanctity was something like Core Firewalker, if it would be better. And I'm thinking that might just be better, but I would have to reorganize my whole sideboard to really justify taking out the Leyline of Sanctities. I need to think what else my matchups that are getting worse and better. But yeah, this is pretty all in against red deck wins. I've had it win for me before, but it's just underperformed today. Stony Silence is still good as a one-of, even though we didn't see it today. Mutagenic Growth, again, good as a one-of, even though we didn't see it today. Again, like I was saying earlier, that this and this should be Thrund. And it would be the sideboard would be much more comfortable with this being Thrund. Destructive Revelry, Vines of Vastwood, Molten Rain, these are all fine and dandy cards. Hushwing Griff hasn't really been doing a lot for me, although people on the MTG Salvation thread have been telling me that Hushwing Griff is a beater when you put it out against Pod, and it's not the worst against things like Restoration Control or Tempo that's using Click and a lot of Enter the Battlefield creature stuff like Snapcaster. And it feels better than Torpor Orb. It's not as good against Kiki Jiki Pod, but it still does what it needs to do. And it's not really good against Twin, but it still will buy you a turn or two, at least give you 2 more combat phases, which is actually pretty important. So I'm not sold. If I was gonna cut stuff, it would probably be these cards, my white over here, and I'd think of some better proactive hate. But these guys have all been performing pretty well over here, and Path to Exile, of course, comes in against mid-range decks. Doesn't seem like it does much of an impact just being one of in the board, but actually is an impact, so it's worth keeping that one in the board if you cut one from the main. And that's basically the deck in a nutshell. I mean, it's working out really, really well. 3 1s, I think I could have 4-0'd. The matches against Affinity are always 50-50. You never really know which way that's going to swing on the pendulum. Weirdly enough, I had more success against the aggressive decks when I went aggressive myself. That's not normally the case, but you do have to see if your hand is aggressive or if it's control, and then decide and stick with it, which one you're going to go with. So, anyways, guys, that was the daily review. Hopefully this will actually be published, because I never have the luck of letting it be published. And remember, guys, feed your animals. This is Lantern signing out.